In this video, we're going to go over line backups. Now, in order to do a data backup of your machine, whether you're loading or saving, you need to have, for a GLM-e or a GLP, you need an SD card with adapter. Now, these SD cards cannot be faster than 15 megabytes per second. They have to be slower than 15 megabytes per second. And sometimes there are software issues with some of the SD cards, so you have to be careful what you end up with.
Stop! This training video on Bizerba equipment is provided as a customer service to Vande scale customers who have purchased Bizerba product from Vande scales in the past. Since 2015, Vande scales has stopped selling Bizerba and designed our own weight price labeling product so that we can properly support our valued customers. The Vande scales weight price labeling product is specifically designed to endure the rigors of the processing plant environment, being extremely robust. The Vande scales weight price labeling equipment is designed to be lower cost to purchase, easier and simpler to operate, much lower cost to maintain, much lower cost to service, and easily serviced by your own technicians while being washdown capable and extremely durable. We have felt your weight price labeling pain over the years and promise not to overprice parts or services, keep the design simple, and use normal industry available parts. Vande Scales still has a large inventory of Bizerba parts that we will eagerly offer substantial discounts to you on. If you have not explored the Vande Scales weight price labeling equipment, you owe it to yourself to have a look. We are confident that once you understand the advantages, you will purchase Vande Scales weight price labeling product.
To do a backup on the GLM-e, you plug the card in here, face the title to the left, because if you put it in backwards, you run the risk of bending over the pins inside of it. Now, on the screen, you're going to go to mode 5 after you plug in your SD card. Mode 5. You're going to go to service, data backup, line backup, and we're going to store a line. Now, you want to do this as much as you really can, and generally when we store the line, we will put in the date that we are storing it, such as 06/15 of 04, whatever. You know, that's good practice so you don't start overlapping backups. But right now I'm just going to call this backup test. And this is saving all of your articles, all of your settings, all of your PLUs, everything. So that if you have a machine failure or something gets messed up, you can go back and load the line. Now after you put in your title and you hit OK, it's going to bring up this chart. Now it shows your master and your slave. Now that's our top labeler and our first bottom labeler. So since both of these are checked, we are getting this data for both. And it should be set right, but it's good practice to go through here and look at all these things before you go on, just in case you want to miss something. It's going to be a little too late when you go to load it and it's just not there. So just give it a quick double check, and we know that's what we want. So I'm going to hit the check mark. Now we are doing a line backup now, and you do not want to shut off the machine. You do not want anybody else to be screwing with the machine. There's that little floppy disk picture right there. That means it's saving. Do not let anybody interfere with that machine while it is saving. Now, as you can see, it tells you when it's finished, and you have to press the button for it to disappear, but it says line backup saved. Now, when you're saving or loading a backup, you want to check your line device select. Now, on this machine, it has two heads. There's a top labeler and a bottom labeler, and it has a display. Now, these are your system bus addresses right here. So you want to make sure your 2 and 3 are checked, because obviously your 1 is your display system bus. So we are saving to both heads. You want to check that before you start. Now, since we have that backup saved, we're going to load it. Then I go to load line, and it's going to check that SD card, and you can look at all the stuff we have on here. Now we have 4 saves on here, and here's test, the one I just saved. So I want to load that. So I just hit OK on it. Hit OK. Now you can look at this stuff when you do it, but generally all you're going to do is hit OK. It should go with the standard settings for this. So you're going to go No, Create, Use from Data Backup, and then it's going to bring up your chart again. You can scroll through that, make sure everything's good. Hit the check mark. Now, once again, you see the floppy disk symbol and this red circle right here. That's telling you do not mess with the machine while it is in backup. Now, you're going to wait for this to load, and it is going to keep loading. It could take quite some time, but when it is done, it will restart the machine. The display will boot down and start back up before it is finished. And cannot stress enough, do not mess with the machine while it is in backup mode.